social media and claim to not like, but they actually love it. First thing you got to understand about most women is that a lot of them are liars, and they have selective morality. So they pick.
Whoa. Sis is coming in strong, real strong. I'm going to actually speed up this playback.
They can choose when they have integrity. Coming in at number one, because it's my favorite, is cheating. I done said this before. Women do not hate cheating. Women hate being cheated on. Majority of women, if you have a conversation with them, you'll find out that at some point in their life, whether they were young, old, they've been another woman, right? They've been the other woman to a man who was cheating. They had no problem being a side chick. They had no problem messing around with a man who they knew was taken. I met so many women throughout my life. I have had to cut women off because they can't seem to stop messing with other people's men. And I don't do that, right? I don't hang around people that do that. That's a no-go for me. I don't play that. But they will sit up in your face and tell you how horrible cheating is. But the truth is, they only care when they're the one being cheated on. And a lot of them, contrary to popular belief, don't actually hate being cheated on. They hate the embarrassment that comes with being cheated on when people find out. But if the man would cheat on her in secrecy and only him and her knew that the cheating was going on, most of them, they really don't care. Number two, a lot of women, mistreatment, they don't hate it as long as you can compensate them for it.
Hold on. She dropping. She's really opening up the playbook. Now, I want to say this. I think it's best for these kind of conversations to allow women to tell these things, because I've noticed that when we as men talk about stuff like this, we strive to be we end on one end of the spectrum, the extreme or the too passive. But when you let women tell it, because typically women just want to be honest, when they're sharing the playbook on how a lot of women move. So you have to let them be honest. I like when women who see things, even, like tell the story even-handed. If you're going to talk about what men do, talk about it. If you're going to talk about what women do, talk about it. But I prefer when it comes to women that I hear women talk about it, because it just seems like they just want to be direct. It's kind of like when men talk about men. Like most of the time, we want to just keep it a buck and just keep it straight. And she telling it. She telling the playbook. And I'll give my commentary at the end. I'm gonna let it go all the way through. So she talked about they like to lie. She already said that. So they like to cheat, and now she's talking about mistreatment.
Like, you can't actually mistreat them as long as the money right. They'll give up their dignity and respect for money. A lot of them can be bought. So it doesn't matter how disrespectful that man is. It don't matter how terrible he treat her, as long as the compensation adds up and makes sense, literally. Next, number three, deadbeats. Women actually love deadbeats, right? Especially when he can give her all his time. You think that while she out going on these dates and he taking her out of the country and doing all of this stuff, that she asking him, well, why you ain't spending this time with your kids? No, she don't care that he ain't spending this time with the kids. She don't care that she don't ever hear him talking about going to get them kids. She don't care that she ain't ever seen him talk about sending no money to them baby mamas. Only person she cares about is her, right? As long as he treating her good. And if she got kids, she only cares about the treatment that he gives to her children. Biological, not biological, she only cares about her and her situation. Attention. Number four, women love attention. They'll sit up and tell you and lie straight to your face and tell you that they don't do this for attention. They don't do that for attention. They absolutely love attention. They love male attention, as long as it's from the man that they want the attention from. Right? It only gets questionable when it's a man that they don't like. But if it's a man that they like, absolutely. You think if her and her homegirls go out and they see a table full of 5 men that they don't want to be approached and they don't want conversation had by those men? Yeah, they do. I don't care what they tell you. All right? It's the ugly dudes that's coming up and bothering them that they got a problem with. But they absolutely have no issue with attractive men shooting their shot, talking to them, conversating with them. They love that. They like attention. They go out of their way for attention. They'll throw other women under the bus for attention. They'll do a lot of things to get attention. Don't do that. And last but not least, number 5, marriage. Majority of these women absolutely wanted marriage. A lot of these women who accept these babies in the ring, yeah, they want to be married. Right? When you go into the comment section of women who get proposed to, women who get married, look at that comment section. Just full of women just wanting that to be them, wishing that had been them. Right? It just didn't end up being them. And, they'll sit up and tell you stuff like, if I wanted to be married, I could. Yeah, you could, to some loser, some ugly loser. But the man who you actually would want to be married to, no, you couldn't just be married to him, because he'd actually have to ask you, and he's not doing that. You know that, we know that. The men that you want to marry you are not marrying you. So no, you don't have the ability to marry the men that you want. You could get married, anybody could get married. Get married to a person that you actually want to be married to is a completely different story. But yes, if they could actually be married to the men that they want, they would. This concludes my list. Hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah. Sis dropped the playbook on them. So she said cheating, mistreatment, deadbeat, attention, and they want marriage. These are 5 lies that this sister believes that women tell. Now, I've been telling, the guys I'm close to and, my mentees, you have to know that there are good and bad women. That's not something I was taught growing up. And I'm not shading my dad, I'm not shading my mom or my family. Because parenting, what I've learned as an adult, there's so much into parenting. Parents, have to understand that, even though this is not about parents, you have to use your resources to help your children maximize, to help maximize your children's childhood, their nurturing up, and their understanding. Because 2 sets, even when a mother and a father is in the home, they don't have experience in everything. So they have to, in a sense, find trusted resources to help their children learn certain things. So maybe your mother and father didn't grow up doing a whole bunch of dating, so your dad don't know how women move, and your mom didn't have a whole bunch of friends, so she don't necessarily know how women move or how men move. My point is if young boys aren't taught that women, that there will be good women and bad women, you go into it with this mentality to where you think all women are good, or you think a woman is to start out trusting her, and then if she fumbles that, then that's on her. No, that's not that's not how you do it. I personally believe everyone should have to earn trust. And just as a man, I don't just start out giving women trust. I used to do that, but when you learn better, you do better. And I actually like listening to women talk about women, because then you're able to hear it from, what do they call it? Someone who's not biased. They don't have a dog in the fight. They get to just tell you these things so you can look out for them. And this video is essentially saying, there are some bad women out there, and I'm going to talk about the bad ones. If you don't cheat, if you don't accept being mistreated for money, if you don't date and get with deadbeats, if you don't do things, if you don't be seductive and do things for attention, and if you don't lie about your desire to be married, then this has nothing to do with you. You don't have to holler. They said hit dog will holler. You don't have to holler. You shouldn't be triggered by this, because the reality of it is that this exists. I know good men that have experienced bad women in a way that has set their life back emotionally, financially, and has made it difficult for these men to recover. I myself, I've experienced some women that weren't so good, but I haven't experienced it to the degree that a lot of other guys I know have. And I think if more men would not just know this, but listen to it, they'll be able to avoid choosing these women, these bad women, and be able to isolate. Because just like men can play games and they can lie and act one way before they get with a woman, and then once they get her, they flip it, women do the same thing. And sometimes they're better at it because they know how to pull on emotional strings. And I have witnessed women who get caught up in cheating, only to then find out that she knew from jump, like, oh, that man had a girl, you know what I'm saying? And then fight for him to leave her to be with her. And this isn't uncommon. And then, like, when she talked about women who will accept being mistreated for money, oh man, that's common. I seen a woman lick a dumpster, a used dumpster, for I think either $100 or $200. Disgusting. I know somebody who dated and married a man that is questionable. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with addictions, prison time. Like, I've seen these things, and it's mind-boggling because you can try to save them from it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I tried to speak life and say, hey, I don't think this is the right time. You know, give it some time. Nope. Dated, you know, married, and got in situations, and it's ugly. You know, like, unfortunately, these are just things that if you don't know it, if you don't see it, then it can catch you off guard. And sometimes by that time, you're already in the trap. But like I told my homies last week, we all worked out together. I said, once you see the game, you can't unsee it. Once you see the strategies that, you know, women move with, you can't unsee it. And once you know the game, it's on you to get played. You know, if you're trying to get something out of it, be selfish, and lo and behold, you get caught in a trap. You know what I'm saying? So now you thinking you playing her, she playing you. So that's the only way you can kind of get played, is if you kind of get yourself in there trying to be selfish. But if you see what the game is, you got to get out. You got to see it for what it is. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Another thing she says is attention. Man, social media, if it hasn't done anything else, it showed us the heart of humanity. I see when I scroll through things, or even when I'm out and about, especially at the gym, women are wearing things that it's just like, yo, why? And it's not that I don't love, I love a good smelling, beautiful, fit, feminine, you know what I'm saying, woman. You know, it's something mesmerizing about it. God designed it to be that way for men, to be attracted to the woman. But I said, man, the rate at which we're seeing like how people are dressing in the gym, I'd rather just go to an all men's gym. You know what I'm saying? And just get my workout in and be out. Because that's what I do now. I go get my work in. Of course, I chat with people. I can be extroverted at times and introverted. But I go get my workout in and I be out. But it's so much going on with like the amount of attention women want with what they're wearing. It's just crazy. So it's like, yeah, that's obvious. And the last thing is, they want marriage. A buddy of mine, he used to tell me all the time, you're being too naive. You know what I'm saying? That woman don't want to be your friend. That woman want to get married. Once you see the game, you can't unsee it. Fellas, be careful. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of lying going on. This young lady didn't have to do this for us, but she put us on game. It's not that she's telling us some deep revelation. She's just trying to help you see the game. Don't be too prideful or bullheaded or say, I don't need to hear from no woman. Listen, you definitely need to hear from a woman. Women, there's a lot of things I've learned from women. You get what I'm saying? Like, if we're humble, we can learn a lot. And I'm not just talking about this kind of silliness, the derogatory things, but we can learn a lot of amazing things of how to interact with women, how to speak with women, how to grow with women. A lot of lifestyle things that I've learned from women about my upkeep. There's a lot that could be learned from women. We just have to be humble enough to listen. This is the side that, you know, it's not as comfortable, but it's necessary. These are the things you need to know when you're talking to people, when you're dealing with women, and you're trying to figure out who you want to be with, you know, who has a good heart, who has virtues. This is what you need to hear. And it's not about the short game. It's not about like, you know, the first month. No, you got to look at this thing in the long game. Like, understand who she is. It peels off in layers. It peels off in layers. Don't let that one night of that good love making get you. You know what I'm saying? The more you stay away from sex outside of marriage, the more you can see about a person anyways. Hear me good. Because once they start putting that sex on you, you know what I'm saying? Y'all start crossing lines. Y'all doing things that married folks do. It's hard, man. You get them claws in you. They get them claws in you, and it's hard. So it's important to look for them virtues on the front end. I'm gonna say this, and I'll be done. God didn't put sex for marriage to keep us from good times and good joy. He did it for our good, to protect us from ourselves, both men and women. So if we as fellas would look at it like, God is not keeping sex from me with a woman just to punish me. He's actually saying on the front end, you need to vet this woman. You need to see if she has virtues. You need to see if she's already a wife that will bring favor into your life. You need to see her friends. You need to see how they talk. You need to see how they move. You need to see what her friends are doing with the guys that they date. You know what I'm saying? When I say see, I don't mean like you go and say, I'm gonna come to y'all girls' night. No, you just need to pay attention. Listen. You know what I'm saying? Because what they're talking about amongst each other, if they're comfortable talking about it to your lady, it's because she do it or she approves of it. And if she approves of it or if she do it, it's gonna come to you. So, man, listen, I don't want to make this too long, but my point is that God is like, this young lady is not saying anything deep, but she's saying something that's good. And then also, not to mention, God has already stated all these things. You know what I'm saying? Like, we see these type of women in the Bible. You know, Potiphar's wife tried to set Joseph up. You know what I'm saying? She's trying to sleep with this man. These are the same things going on in the Bible. It's a historical, accurate book telling us of things that have happened so that we can learn from it, so that we can assess situations and other humans properly. So, fellas, if you want to assess women properly, you want to vet them well, read about the virtues of women in the Bible. Listen to videos like to a woman like this, or you don't know her, so maybe talk to your grandma, talk to your mama, or if they're a good resource, talk to them. Talk to somebody who can put you on game, because going out into this world, you know what I'm saying, thinking that you just gonna go out there and conquer and subdue these women. No, these women are liberated. They're intelligent. They're strategic. And as they should be. Because there's a good and bad side to it. So don't go out there thinking that you just out there conquering them because you're out there getting what you want, you having your way, you getting the whole hog. No, they're getting you too. I told somebody this the other day. I'm done for real after this. A lot of times, especially when I was out in the streets, I used to think, man, I'm just pulling them, I'm getting them, reeling them in. Ooh, got a big one. The whole time they was getting me. They was playing me. That's how the game goes if we don't listen. Everybody who's prideful get played. That's just what it is. You got ego, you're getting played. But if you do things God's way, and if you're patient, it's not to say that the woman's going to be perfect. But if you take your time and you vet well, you have other sets of eyes, and you listen to wisdom, you get you a woman of virtue, or as a woman, you get you a man of integrity, a man of that's God-fearing. You said. But anyways, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. I got too passionate in this one. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section, and I'll catch y'all in the next video.
Stand on it, be strong.